See him a beast when he hear that sound like yeah, beat on the beat when he hear that sound like woo. Yeah, bitch and the champ only need one round like ha. Yeah, me, I'm a G bring heat and it sound like
FCFF Rumble at the Roseland 115 this weekend, July 29th, same day as UFC 291. And your main event, his first title defense with me today, Kevin Shaughnessy. Kevin, my man, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. Fight week. We're 3 days out from the fight. Generally don't fight or talk to fighters this close to the fight. So how's your energy, man?
I actually feeling pretty good. Usually like the beginning of fight week's kind of tough adjusting to like the keto diet. I go keto for about like 9 days, 8 days. So getting adjusted to that for the first few days is a little bit rough. You feel a little lethargic and you have less energy. But like yesterday, I was really feeling it. Did 10, 12 rounds of Muay Thai last night. So I'm feeling good, feeling ready.
And the belt's right there. This is your first defense, as I mentioned. Pretty beautiful, looking good on you. And you got that by beating Brendan Dugan. And I haven't talked to you since, really. I know that there was some trash talk in the lead up to that fight. How good did that feel to beat Brendan and get the belt?
Oh, it felt great. Honestly, since then too, like he's just made a ton of excuses for the fight and stuff.
Oh, really?
And yeah, like he's been going like crazy on social media, just like saying like I couldn't grapple for 2 weeks before this fight and all this stuff, and I just got caught and I know I'm better. And then he was supposed to fight my teammate Carlos like a few weeks ago on July 8th, and then like that whole card fell apart, so that like the main event fell out and the co-main fell out. So they were trying to reschedule for this card that I'm on now. And then Brendan's like, "Oh, I'm just going pro. That's a mismatch with that kid anyway." Like all this shit. I'm just like, I don't know. This kid's lost his mind ever since then. So
Well,
it felt good though to beat him. I actually went downstairs after I won, and I went down into his locker room and gave him a hug and like let him know like I don't feel any personal issues towards him. And I actually invited him to come train with us if he wanted to get ready for his pro career. But then like he instantly signed to fight my teammate and just started trash talking him right away. So I'm like, you guys are like whatever, fuck this kid. I tried though, but whatever.
Well, hey, the belt is yours. I saw his Facebook post leading up to your guys' fight. So the trash talk wasn't really on your end. It was more so on his. Yeah. And you know what they say, karma. What goes around comes around. And the belt came around for you, my friend. And for this fight, your first defense, training at ATT Portland still. How's camp been?
It's been really good. I added something new to my camp from the last camp. Even I started working with this guy Jay at our gym. He goes by Jerome the Bull on Instagram, and he's like one of the hardest workers in our gym. He's like literally just always at American Top Team. Like I show up there in the morning. I schedule a private for like 9 a.m. I go, the gym's closed. Oh, let me knock on the door because I know Jay's in there, and then he is. So that guy's always running and lifting and everything in there, and he's like a personal trainer. So I've been paying him for some sessions leading up to this fight. So I'm actually feeling a bit stronger than I was for the Dugan fight. I'm actually like 2-3 pounds heavier today than I normally am. Like every day throughout fight week, I've been a little bit heavier this week. So, and I don't really see it. So I think it's mostly just a little bit more strength. So I'm feeling good about that.
And obviously you train with Ricky Simone, who is coming off of a very tough, hard fought fight against Song Yadong. I'm asking you this because he's been a little bit quiet since, and I'm sure people would love to know. How's he holding up? Everything good with Ricky?
Yeah, he's doing great. He's just it's just a small setback for him, and nothing changes in his mission or his focus. He's just been just as dedicated. He splits time between here and Timo Yama, so he's still been doing that, putting in work, helping everyone get ready. We have a bunch of teammates fighting. Like last week we had 6 or 5 teammates fight, and then we have 6 on my card as well. So like everyone in the gym's been really active. We have a couple pros fighting a few weeks after. So yeah, Ricky's been in there helping everyone get ready like always. So he's a great teammate, selfless guy, and I'm sure we'll see him back in a big fight soon. So.
And I'm not asking you to break any news here, but does he have anything booked that you know of? Is he training for anything?
No, not that I know of. No.
Well, I mean, there was like 10 bantamweight fights that got announced today, so hopefully
something right comes. Yeah, I think he's looking to turn back pretty soon. So
good stuff, man. And let's talk about you now, man. FCFF Rumble at the Roseland 115, your first title defense. Is this different defending the belt compared to having to win the belt? Like, is this a different energy?
A little bit. Honestly, I've been sleeping with this on my nightstand. So before I go to bed every night, I just look over at it, and it says flyweight champion on the side right here. And like I just look at it, I'm like, this kid is trying to take this from me. It's different. Before I was just trying to get something that was vacant. It was nobody's, you know, it wasn't even Brendan's. I wasn't even trying to take it from him and necessarily. I was trying to achieve it. But now, like, I mean, I'm just an amateur, so it's not all that big, but it does feel like, wow, this kid's trying to take something from me, and I don't like the feeling of that. So I've been a little extra motivated. Like Brennan motivated me a bit with the trash talking last camp. This one's been more just like, I know how tough this kid is since we fought last year, and it was a tough fight. And yeah, he's just trying to take what's mine. I can't let him.
Daniel Jimenez, he's trying to take the belt. Like you mentioned, you guys fought before. You won via split decision. How do you feel about the second fight? How do you feel about Daniel as an opponent?
I feel like Daniel is a very tough guy overall, and he's a well-rounded MMA fighter, right? He's not really like great anywhere, but he's good everywhere, which can be scary, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost worse than someone who's great in one spot, because if you can just shut down that one spot, we can beat them, right? But Daniel's pretty good everywhere. His wrestling's good, his top game's not bad, and his boxing's pretty good. But I feel like last time I didn't really fight him with much of a game plan. We just kind of fought, you know. This time I have much more of a game plan in mind, and I feel like I know how to fight him much better than I did last time. My wrestling has improved a lot, and I have a training partner, Carlos Nunez, who is also fighting this weekend. He's a flyweight as well, and his style just resembles Daniel really well. So I've got a lot of good training in with him this camp, with him like resembling Daniel, and I feel I'm ready to go. I don't think any flyweight amateur is gonna fuck with me at the moment. We just have an elite team of flyweight amateurs at ATT. We have Ty Morris, he's on the come up. We have Sam. We have Brian, my friend Lil B, as you know him. There's like 4 or 5 of us over there we're probably the best amateur 125ers in the PNW right now. So training with those guys on a weekly basis, then going to have to fight these other dudes who I know I can't fuck with them, makes me feel good.
And do you prefer having fought an opponent already and going into it knowing what to expect a little, or do you like fighting a new opponent, a fresh face more?
I kind of like the new opponent, but I mean, like, I've only fought 3 guys now. Well, 4 if you include the kickboxing fight. But it is a little weird having the rematch, especially since I won by split decision. Like, there's people who feel like I lost that fight. So it almost feels like I need to go in there and, like, finish this guy to prove, like, no, we're on 2 different levels here. I won that first fight. I'm going to decisively win the second fight as well. But no, it is a little bit weird having a rematch already, like my 4th fight in my amateur career, but that's just the way it goes.
And have you two like talked at all since the first fight or afterwards or before this fight?
No, he's very like he doesn't really have social media and stuff. Like, he has Instagram, but he doesn't really post anything. So he's more like just probably like has it to go on there and lurk and stuff, you know. I've talked to one of his coaches actually at a grappling industries that I was refereeing. I saw one of his coaches there because I was supposed to fight Daniel back in December, right. December 10th. And he pulled out like on December 1st. He got like a cut on his head or something. But I didn't know why he pulled out. I just knew that he pulled out. So I saw his coach when I was refereeing at this tournament. I'm like, hey, what's up? I'm like, what happened to the fight? He's like, oh, Daniel got split really bad, like a headbutt or whatever, and cut him open and couldn't train. And yeah, I don't know. I just talked with his coach a little bit. But his coach kind of gave me some insight on him because I think that he didn't think we were going to ever fight again. So he might have told me a little more info than he should have. So.
Oops.
Yeah.
You got a prediction? You got a Mystic Kev prediction?
I think we are going to get the TKO ground and pound.
Have you gotten a TKO yet in your career? Would this be the first?
No. This will be the first.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you're Mr. Submission out there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like, I put this kid in a crazy armbar last time we fought.
Yeah, you did. I remember that.
He got out, and it was incredible. Like, honestly, he's probably one of the most toughest people I've ever competed against, jiu-jitsu wise or fighting, you know. Yeah. I've never armbarred someone like that in my life and they don't tap out. It's just like, I just don't understand. So I remember actually when I had him in the armbar thinking like, what the fuck is this going to take to get this kid out of here, you know? So I'm either looking to just ground and pound him or choke him this time because I know how tough he is. The ref will stop in for punches. I guess they don't want to stop in for a hyperextended arm, but yeah.
And 2023, we're a little bit over halfway through the year. Are you looking to fight again in 2023?
I want to do 2 more after this. Yeah. So, yeah, I want to do at least 1 more, but I want to get 2 more, and I want to get my last 2 amateur fights in this year and start off 2024 going pro. So
So that's the goal. 3 more amateurs and then pro 2024.
Yeah, I want to defend this belt this weekend against Daniel. Maybe one more time, and then try to go get the FCFF 135 title before I go to pro.
Oh, a little double champ action, eh?
Yeah, because why cut weight an extra time?
Yeah, fuck
And
that.
most of the amateur 135ers aren't all that big, you know. So I was actually in the locker room on my last fight card when I won this. They had the 135 title on up for grabs in the main event.
Yeah.
And because that was also vacant, and I was in the locker room with the guy who ended up winning like the whole time, and he wasn't that much bigger than me. So, yeah, we'll see.
Is FCFF only amateur, or do they do pro too?
So actually, I had thought that it was only amateur, but they actually have a pro fight on the card this weekend. So we actually have a pro 170-pound fight on the card this weekend. I think it's going to be right before my fight. I'm actually not the main event. I'm the co-main event. The main event is going to be my teammate. My teammate Austin Abbey is actually the main event. He's going to be fighting for the vacant 205 title.
Okay, that makes sense.
So
205, 125.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I prefer being the co-main anyway, because everyone leaves like right when the main event ends. They don't really listen to the guy on the mic during his winning speech. Like, people are pouring out and everything. So I like to be the co-main. Everyone's still hyped for one more fight, and you get to yell on the mic and hype everyone up for it. So it's cool.
And the reason I asked about them doing amateur and pro fights is because, obviously your first pro fight, not going to be for the UFC. That's not how they roll unless you're fucking Bo Nickel. So where do you want to go for your first couple pro fights? FCFF, I assume? I
mean, I wouldn't mind fighting for the FCFF pro, because I like the venue. Like, the Roseland Theater in downtown Portland is just an incredible venue. Like, I was just in Lincoln City last weekend for my teammates fighting at the King of the Cage. King of the Cage is a great organization as well. They run their shows out of a Chinook Winds Casino in Lincoln City on the beach, which is great, but it's 2 hours from here. You have to head there early so you can cut weight out there on Friday.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to drive 2 hours to go see you. And the venue is actually like not as intimate as the Roseland. You can fit just as many people or more in the Roseland Theater, and the balcony like adds to the effect of everything. So I wouldn't mind fighting for the FCFF, but King of the Cage is a great regional show that a lot of my teammates fight for pro. They hold pro and amateur fights on their card as well. But yeah, probably the FCFF or King of the Cage. We'll see.
And my last question for you, and it's another promotional thing. Because you keep saying, Kev, you keep saying, Jake, I'm going to come one of these days. I'm going to sleep on that couch right there, and I'm going to do some arena grappling at Droog's MMA down the road. So
I will.
When you coming to PA, bro? When you doing arena grappling?
You know what? Maybe sometime in the fall is probably what it's going to look like. Because I do have some stuff coming up. Like, I actually have Masters Worlds at the end of August. So a month after this fight, I'm going to be competing in Las Vegas for IBJJF Masters Worlds. I've been very active with my jiu-jitsu competitions this year. I've done like 6 of them or something. I don't know. Something like that. So I've been trying to really keep doing jiu-jitsu competitions, even in camp and in between camps, just to stay active with that and keep my modern jiu-jitsu at a high level, So I don't want to fall behind these jiu-jitsu guys. But yeah, I'll be out there. I'll be out there for sure. We're coming.
Good stuff, dude. You gotta put me to sleep. And just for the record, I have a nicer sofa than this. This is not your bed. You're in the basement.
All right. Hey,
got your own quarters.
Nice.
But
I gotta come out and meet you and AJ, so for sure.
Yeah,
I've
man.
been following AJ for years on Instagram, so yeah.
AJ Deshawney, Droog's MMA. Killer squad over there. And yeah, man, we'd love to have you come through for a little bit. And Kev, before we get out of here, man, I'm going to post this obviously on the Scrap News, Twitter, Instagram. You got so many fans, especially, I met you on Twitter. You got a big Twitter following, and now that you're a champion, your following is growing all over. So that being said, anything you would like to say to everybody ahead of the fight? If so, the mic is yours.
I just want to again thank my sponsors. Underdog Lawyer has been fantastic to me. I don't know how I'd be able to do this as well as I'm doing it without him. He allows me to actually take off work the entire week of my fight week because of sponsorship. Nonevo Pizza, this guy Joey, who I train with up at FSBJ, he's one of my students. He's a white belt up there, but he sponsors me as well. Without them too, I'd be fighting for free, so I really appreciate them. All my teammates, everyone, all my flyweight training partners who put in so many rounds with me on a week, especially Ty Morris. Like, this year, me and him have put in hundreds of rounds together. Lil B, always there for me, probably going to help me through my entire weight cut. These are people who I really need around me. My coach, Ed Herman, I mean, just having that guy guiding me through everything, and now working at his gym in FSBJJ in Vancouver and everything, I really wouldn't be able to do it without Ed either, or my wife, who food preps basically everything for me and make sure that I am mentally stable enough to do all this. So just thank you to everyone who helps me out.
Awesome, man. And thank you for the time. I appreciate it. And ladies and gentlemen, July 29th, before the co-main and main event of UFC, you may as well tune over to FCFF 115 as Kevin Shaughnessy defends that flyweight belt. Kevin, my man, thank you so much, and kick some ass. All right, dude, I can't wait.
Yes, sir. And still.